Today's Christmas Carol movie is an interesting one because this is a very different one compared to the previous three. This is a movie called Scrooge, released back, I believe, in the mid 80s, 1980s. And it's directed by Richard Donner of Superman and the Goonies, and stars Bill Murray in the film. And this is a very interesting one because this is a completely different take on the Christmas Carol story because it takes the Christmas Carol's theme but sets it in the 1980s and the US, and instead of Ebenezer Scrooge, the person that's the jerk that gets redeemed by three ghosts, is a TV executive, a selfish TV executive named Frank, who Bill Murray plays, and he's getting visited by three ghosts, and where in which one and they show them their past, their present, and future. I mean his, and once he leaves his future, he finally reforms and becomes a very nice person, and gives a very phenomenal and very powerful speech, a lengthy speech at the end about Christmas and celebrates Christmas at the studio. And I thought Bill Murray did a fun was very fun in this movie. He plays a mean spirited TV executive who is not interested in Christmas. Meanwhile, the studio he's working on is making a Christmas Carol TV special. Meanwhile, he's getting visited by three ghosts. And I really like how he put a lot of energy in terms of when he gets really angry or becomes really selfish to a lot of the people he knows. And also puts some emotion in when he has a tear when he sees his past as a little boy, or when he has a little sad moment for a bit before Elliot starts to try to kill him after getting fired, or when he tried to stop his body being burned and finally getting reformed, and has a amazing speech and reunites with Claire, who is pretty much this movie's take on Isabel. And I thought Bill Murray overall was phenomenal in this movie. I thought he did a fun job in this role. I really liked him in this. I really thought the new takes on the ghost was really cool. The ghost who's supposed to be Jacob Marley is now named Lou, his buddy that died 7 years ago. Of course, just like Jacob Marley. And I thought I like how they updated him to be their own thing, where because Lou is not in chains, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. If you see the character, and his makeup and costume does look pretty creepy and really neat at the same time, and he is very funny in this movie, especially when he was drinking it, but water's pouring out of his chest, or he was kind of threatening to 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 make to attack, threatening Frank into throwing him out the window. Meanwhile, before he gets visited by the ghost of Christmas past, who in this movie is a taxi driver who uses his taxi to travel back in time. I thought that he was very crazy, and I thought he was funny in this, especially when he was supporting Frank being a dog mascot. I thought that was funny, and him too. And I thought the way they updated the Ghost of Christmas Present is interesting because this instead of being like a a man who has a long beard and very comical, she is a comical fairy who uh, keeps hitting Frank a, a lot throughout his present throughout when she's bit when they travel both in present. I thought she was hilarious in this for few amount of screen time she was in. And I thought the ghost of Christmas Yet to Come was very clever, was very cool and intimidating, and for a bit he was in. Especially since he has you can see that he has a skull face, and inside of his chest are these grossly looking bodies eating stuff. And I thought the overall concept of this was a pretty cool idea where they take the Christmas Carol story but set it on the time that this movie came out. Kind of like Spirited would do. Um, and I thought uh, the other characters like Claire and Elliot were pretty memorable in this, and I thought the new when they their own take on Scrooge's nephew, but instead of being his nephew, he is Frank's brother. I thought that's a pretty interesting spin on the story, and I thought that I did laugh a few times in the movie, and I really thought the opening was pretty interesting because I thought there was like a North Pole in this universe. But no, when they had the guns, I was like, this has to be like a movie or something. Yeah, it is. Maybe a TV movie since Frank is a ad executive, not an ad executive, a TV executive. That's when they showed the guns. I was like, oh, this gotta be a TV movie, and it is. But it kind of got me there for a second, honestly. And I thought so overall, I thought Scrooge was a fun and funny new take on the Christmas Carol, or new or like different take on it since it's no longer new. Um, but I thought it was a pretty original take on the story, and Bill Murray carried the film, and I thought the mm, take the idea of taking a familiar story and doing his very own thing. I thought it's always a clever idea when it's done right. And so that's my review of Scrooged. Merry Christmas, Bill Murray, and stay tuned for tomorrow's Christmas Carol, where we're gonna have Muppets in them.